Even at the time, everyone knew that Conor McGregor and Max Holloway had bright prospects. And I think we sort of kid ourselves into the idea that these sort of matchups were happening all the time. This was really seen as, damn, why are you throwing these two future world champions in against each other so early? But it marks an interesting time in the Conor McGregor story because this is Conor McGregor still trying things, still experimenting. And one of the things he does a lot in this fight is use the lead leg side kick to the knee, which is annoying and stops Max Holloway pressing into him, but it also sets up this bicycle kick that he's doing a lot. This one. So the lead knee comes up, and then he side kicks down into the lead leg, which can then cover this knee raise to this kick. And the second kick can be to the head or a ball of the foot kick to the stomach, but I really like how he was using it to close onto the fence, try and land a good shot, and then get out. But this brings us on to the sort of stage we're in with McGregor in this fight. All of his pressure comes off this side of his stance over here. Left straight, left high kick. He's throwing the hook kick with his lead leg, but again, that comes from the left side. He doesn't have a lot of tools to stop Max Holloway circling around this way. Another big feature of this fight is the up jab, or corkscrew uppercut, whatever you want to call it. Head off the center line, which drops the lead shoulder, and then the hand comes down as well, and he's going to corkscrew this up through here, and that lifts the opponent's head for the left straight. It often works well hopping around the opponent just outside their lead foot to get that dominant angle for the left straight follow-up. And if you want to see someone who's really great at this, Prince Naseem basically gave up every punch that wasn't this by the end. One of the wonderful things about it is that it sneaks under the opponent's armpit in the same way that those punches from the turtle, like the one that put Kyoji Horiguchi out the other day, do. So here's the classic McGregor open side counter, off a parry this time. Southpaw v orthodox. Most of the time McGregor is stepping back on this angle to try and make the opponent's right hand fall short and then come back over the top. In this instance, he's been forced to parry with his left hand there in this direction. And he's going to fire through this line as Max Holloway's arm drops. Boom. That's the one that made him special. On the lead, obviously McGregor had this piston of a left hand, but one of the reasons that it looks so interesting and you could like pick him out of a lineup in silhouette is that he often ends up almost entirely on one leg, head way forward of hips. And what this does is it makes a bit more length, but I was just criticizing Manuel Torres for doing this all the time last week. So against Eddie Alvarez, you can see this shooting him from miles away and knocking poor Eddie senseless. But then if you watch the fight with Dustin Poirier, it's Dustin Poirier's counter right hook that's catching McGregor all the time. And you can see that same opening, there's a couple land in this fight with Holloway through there. But to return to what a cool era this was for McGregor, look at this little elbow. He's just trying stuff. There. And then he shoots the long left straight. Again, completely on one leg. Falling forward. And the way that he often deals with that, in this fight in particular, is that he shoots his left hand and then he puts both hands on Holloway and pushes him away immediately afterwards. And then something very interesting happens in the second round. McGregor bundles Holloway over off a kick, passes his guard, ends up in a knee cut, which is a very strong passing position. He has the underhook. He's basically just freeing his foot to complete the pass to side control. And Holloway bridges into the side of his knee at just the wrong time and pops one of his CLs, and McGregor was out for a little while after this fight. But it means that when they get back on the feet, McGregor is much slower. You can see, like, when he injured his knee against Mendes, he can't get the timing on that retreating open side counter. And he very quickly says, nah, I'm shooting, mate. And the third round is just McGregor trying to hold Holloway down. But it's so interesting that the first few fights of McGregor's rise, you can see something new being either developed or tried every fight. His next fight after this is against Diego Brandao, almost a full year later because of the knee injury, and immediately he puts Brandao to the fence. Brandao starts circling out towards McGregor's lead side, away from the left hand to the left high kick, and McGregor starts hammering him with wheel kicks and back kicks, which would become the standard that he used against Dennis Siver, Chad Mendes when he pushed them back. So I don't expect much from this rematch this weekend, but this particular time, watching a fighter of this talent improving every fight and developing new ideas with that weird Bushido-y, Bruce Lee, warrior monk thing about him was very exciting. I make these videos for fun, they're not monetized. Cheers!